Good morning, everyone. I have begun with the Fourier analysis in the previous session, and this session is entirely with respect to theorem number, the third theorem, the theorem number 3.3. Okay, so this is the third module that we have already started, and the theorem 3.1, which was with respect to the orthogonality nature of the exponential signal. Next, we had the conjugate system which is there, okay, and we also discussed a part of the corollary which is there associated with respect to the theorem. Okay, so next what we are going to do here is I have x of t to be a real with periodicity nature also being associated. Okay, so I have x of t to be a combination of x even of t and x odd of t. Okay, so where we will be having the Fourier coefficient of x of t being denoted as x of k, which is a complex, and it is defined as a complex nature. The x of k, which is the complex Fourier coefficient, is said to be a plus jp. Okay, coefficient there. Okay, so let me start sharing my screen now. Okay, so let me start sharing my screen. I hope it is visible to you, each and everyone. Okay, so now let me discuss quickly here. So now what we had done in theorem 3.2 is the theorem 3.2, whatever I have covered. Okay, so x of k, once it is the conjugate of it, so that would be equal to x of minus k, right? So x of minus k, whatever that was there, that would be equal to x conjugate of k. So this x conjugate of k, that will be equal to 1 divided by t. Okay, so under the integral x of t e power minus j into k into omega naught into t dt, which is the conjugate one. Okay, so once I have these two signals, that is x of t and e power 1, so both the terms which are associated here over a period, okay, so it will be having a conjugate there. So x of t under the conjugate, that is conjugate of x of t, so e power j k into omega naught t dt. So 1 by t is the time period, I mean sorry, the t, whatever that is there, t is the time period here, t is the time period. Okay, so if I understand t will be the time period whatever that is there, so if x of t, okay, so you say x of t is a real one, what I'll do here is x star of t, okay, so and x of t which is being present here, so once I can call this one which is to be equal to x of t, so I'll be having the real part of it. Okay, so real nature, once you have x of t only to be containing the real part of the complex number, so then you can say that its conjugate will also be equal to the real part there. So what I mean here is I have a complex number say z which will be equal to x plus iy. Okay, so a conjugate of it will be x minus iy here, so this real part will be same, right? So z will be equal to z star, that will be the real part of it. So real part of z star will be equal to real part of z. So that is what I mean here. Okay, so in the similar aspect, what I can write here is x of t and x star of t would be the same. Okay, so concluding it, so I can have x star of k, that would be equal to integral under the time limit x of t e power j into k omega naught t dt, that would be equal to x of minus k. Okay, so these terms which are there, that is x star of k, that would be equal to x of minus k. So once you have two types of it, that is the spectrum. Okay, so when I talk about the spectrum, I can talk about two different aspects here. One is the amplitude spectrum and the other one is the phase spectrum here, right? So once you have this amplitude, okay, so how you are going to write the amplitude of a complex number, that is root of x plus, I mean x squared plus y squared there under the root, so that forms the magnitude of it, right? So now once when I talk about the phase spectrum which is there, so phase spectrum is associated with respect to the phase angle or the angle to which the vector is being rotated there. So we can call that to be a phasor which is rotated, so rotating vector which is there. And this phase spectrum, whatever that has been associated, so you have the angle notation on the y-axis there. Okay, so the corollary of this theorem, whatever that states here, is I have x of k. This forms the basic to the next theorem, x of k, that would be equal to a of k plus j into b of k. Okay, so next you have the conjugate of it, right? So x star, okay, x star, which represents the conjugate. I'll write it here. X star, which represents the conjugate x star of k, that would be equal to a of k minus j into b of k, right? So I have the magnitudes which has been associated. So these spectrum, which is having two types here, which is the amplitude spectrum and the phase spectrum, which is there. All right. So now what do I have here? I have to make a statement here. So I wanted to make a statement which I missed out. Okay. So x of k. Okay, so under the magnitude, that will be equal to x of minus k under the magnitude there. Okay, so now if you plot it, okay, so if you plot x-axis, that is with the value of k, and y-axis with modulo of x of k here. Okay, so x of k under the modulo versus k, which is known as the amplitude spectrum, which is known as the amplitude spectrum. Okay, so spectrum is nothing but wide ranges of colors. I mean, whatever that you say. So in terms of colors, in terms of any sequence of numbers, the spectrum. Okay, so once you have any such like a plot of it or a figure that you write, okay, so it forms a spectrum of different values, different magnitudes, or whatever that is associated, intensity of colors. Okay, you call that to be the spectrum here. So amplitude spectrum is a plot of x of k versus k there. Okay, so under the magnitude, which will be there, x of k versus k here. Okay, so which exhibits, okay, one important point, exhibits symmetry. Okay, so the amplitude spectrum exhibits symmetry. Okay, so I'll be calling this as even symmetry here, even symmetry with respect to the vertical axis. Okay, with respect to the vertical axis. Okay, so remember this point. So this plot, that is x of k versus k, which is the amplitude spectrum, it exhibits the even symmetry with respect to the vertical axis there. Okay, so now you have one more spectrum there, that is nothing but the angle spectrum. Okay, so angle that is there with respect to x of k, that would be equal to minus, okay, that is the angle x of minus k. Okay, so where did you observe such a thing there? Can anyone tell me? You'll be having this thing. Okay, so you had a classification of signals called as even signals and odd signals. Can you recollect it? Can you recollect? Can anyone recollect what we did there in even and odd signals? Is Rachana there in the meeting? Yes, Rachana, are you there in the meeting? Okay, never mind. So now you have the phase spectrum there. So once you are having the angle, which is there, angle versus k. Okay, so angle of x of k. So considering x of k to be a complex number, you have two quantities that are associated. That is the amplitude spectrum. Once you have the amplitude of it, and next one is the phase spectrum there. So once you are having this phase spectrum, which is associated, you will be having the angle of x of k, that would be equal to minus angle of x of minus k there, right? So it exhibits the even symmetry with respect to the vertical axis. Okay, so now if you are having the amplitude spectrum which exhibits even symmetry with respect to the vertical axis, so later on you will be having angle of x of k, that would be equal to minus x of minus k as the angle there, right? So that is what you can write it, and this plot is known as phase spectrum, which exhibits Okay, so now the amplitude spectrum exhibited the even symmetry there. So here you will be having the odd symmetry, exhibits odd symmetry with respect to vertical axis. Okay, with respect to vertical axis. Okay, so it exhibits the odd symmetry with respect to the vertical axis there. So now you have the phase spectrum. I'll write it here to make it easy. The phase spectrum which will have the odd symmetry with respect to the vertical axis and exhibits the even symmetry with respect to the vertical axis, that is the amplitude spectrum. So phase spectrum exhibits odd symmetry with respect to vertical axis, and the magnitude spectrum exhibits even symmetry with respect to the vertical axis there. This is the phase spectrum, what I have written here, and this is the associated corollary with respect to the second theorem there. Okay, so now let us move on to the next theorem to make it quite easy. Okay, so now the next theorem, so I can write it as theorem 3.3. Okay, so let x of t be a real periodic function, defined by x of t equals x even of t plus x odd of t. Okay, x of t, that is equal to x even of t plus x odd of t. Also the Fourier coefficient of x of t, the Fourier coefficient of x of t, x of k is complex, and is defined by x of k equals a of k, okay, plus j into b of k. Okay, so I have x of k to be a of k plus j into b of k. I have x of t to be the real periodic function, which is defined as x of t equals x even of t plus x odd of t, and the Fourier coefficients of x of t, the continuous time signal, that is x of t, which is denoted by x of k. So what I mean here is x of t here, it is represented with the help of the Fourier series. Okay, so x of t, once you call x of t to be the real periodic function, okay, so x of t associated with respect to the Fourier series, the x of k is called as the complex Fourier coefficient there. Okay, so x of k equals a of k plus j into b of k there, right? So now then x even of t, the even component, okay, I repeat, the even component of it, once you take the even component Fourier series, it will have the real part of the complex Fourier coefficient. Okay, a of k is called as the real part of complex Fourier coefficient. Okay, now I have j into b of k, that is being represented as imaginary part of complex Fourier coefficient. Okay, I want you to understand this one. Okay, so this is one of the important theorems here, where you will be having x of t to be the real periodic function, which is defined by x of t, which will be a combination of even component and the odd component of x of t, where x of k is the complex Fourier coefficient of x of t. So x of k is represented as a of k plus j into b of k. Okay, so then x even of t, if you take the Fourier series of it, that would be the real part. Okay, so now x odd of t, x odd of t. Okay, so once you take the Fourier series, that would be j into b of k. So this is what you need to prove here. So, or the theorem states in this way here. Okay, so now let me go for the synthesis equation here quite easily. So, and just before that, how will you write the even component of the signal? If given x of t for a given signal, say x of t, and you will be having x of minus t there. So even component of the signal, that is the even component of x of t, okay, given real periodic function x of t. Okay, so how you can write it? Half of, okay, that is x of t plus x of minus t. Okay, so x of t plus x of minus t. Recall from your fundamentals here. Okay, next let me apply the synthesis equation. Apply the synthesis equation. Recall the synthesis equation once you are writing it. So see to it that you are going to recall the synthesis equation, that is x even of t, that would be equal to, apply synthesis equation to this one, that is 1 by 2, apply synthesis equation for x of t, and this one, that is x of minus t there. Okay, so that is half of sigma k equals minus infinity to plus infinity, that is x of k e power j into k omega naught t plus half of sigma k equals minus infinity to plus infinity x of k e power minus j into k omega naught t. Okay, so x even of t will be equal to half. I have multiplied it inside. This is for x of t and this one is for x of minus t. Okay, so that is where you are going to represent this. Okay, so now I have x even of t. What I can do here is I can make a slight change here. Okay, so sigma k equals minus infinity to plus infinity x of k into 1 by 2. Okay, so x of k into 1 by 2 e power j into k into omega naught t plus e power minus j k into omega naught t. Okay, so that is where you can write this one. Okay, are you able to understand what I did here? So I have taken the common factor. Okay, so I have taken this sigma term as the common factor here. So just to ensure that I need the expression in terms of the trigonometric function here. Okay, so that's the reason why I have taken along with half. You can just do it and you will be getting sigma k equals minus infinity to plus infinity x of k, okay, x of k into cos k into omega naught t, cos of k into omega naught t. Okay, so what you need to do here is you need to make a substitution here. All right, so once you make a substitution, that is x of k, that would be equal to a of k plus j into b of k. What you are going to get it there, right? So a of k, if you substitute it inside, okay, what you are going to get? So that is, let me go on to the next page, that is x even of t. What you can get here is you will be having sigma k equals minus infinity to plus infinity x of k cos of k into omega naught t. Okay, so this x of k here, which will be a of k plus j into b of k. Okay, so that is where you are going to make the substitution here. Okay, so that is written as sigma k equals minus infinity to plus infinity. Let me write here a of k plus j into b of k. Okay, so cos of k into omega naught t into t, omega naught into t. Okay, so let me make the multiplication here. So sigma k equals minus infinity to plus infinity a of k into cos k into omega naught into t plus, okay, so I have the summation again here, sigma k equals minus infinity to plus infinity, that is j into b of k cos of k into omega naught into t here. Okay, so I have two summation terms here. that is written as from k is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity. Okay, so now what do we know that? So we have two things that we need to remember in mind. So how x of k is being represented. Next, how x star of k is being representing. Okay, so that is a of k minus j into b of k. I know that x of k is being written with a simple complex number notation here. Okay, so what we can do here is, and one more thing that you can remember is x of minus k. Okay, x of minus k, that will be a of minus k plus j into b of minus k here. Okay, so that is where you need to make the change here. Okay, and again x star of k, that will be equal to x of minus k. Okay, so and a of k will be equal to a of minus k. Okay, the complex notation, and b of k, I'll write it here, a of k will be equal to a of minus k, and b of k, that will be equal to minus b of minus k. Okay, so which shows that a of k is even and b of k is odd. Okay, so this is with respect to the even function here, and this is with respect to the odd. So remember one thing, what we are doing here is we are changing from k to minus k here, 1. Okay, so next what you are going to get, so this real part that is there, which will be equal to the a of k itself. A of k will be equal to a of minus k. Next, b of minus k, that will be equal as minus b of k there. So that is with respect to the odd component there. So I can write x of minus k to be equal to the x star of k there. So which is nothing but the even and odd components both are being there in case of the complex number. Oh, okay. So we can show that a of k is even. Okay, a of k is even. All right. So next, what you are going to get, and b of k is odd. B of k is odd. Okay. So remember one thing. So x star of k, that would be equal to x of minus k there. Okay. So x conjugate. Okay, x conjugate of k, that would be equal to x of minus k then, right? So next what you need to do is a of k, once it is changed, so that will be equal to a of minus k, that is even. So b of k is odd. Okay, so thus b of k is an odd function of k. Okay, so next the coefficients that is there here, look in this equation, b of k is an odd function and cos omega naught into k into t is an even function. What is the product of odd function into even function? Yes, can anyone tell me what is the product of odd function into even function?
Odd function, sir.
Yes, exactly. So once you multiply 1 with respect to an even number, okay, so it is said to be an even function there, odd into even. Okay, so you will be having the odd function there. The product of it will be an odd function there, right? So you are having two functions. Okay, so it is quite similar to that of the product of two signals, whatever that we did. Okay, so recall that, and you will be getting the odd function, that is b of k is with respect to an odd function, and cos k into omega naught t is an even function there. Okay, so let me write it here. B of k is an odd function of k, is an odd function of k. Okay, next, whereas cos omega naught, cos k into omega naught t is an even function, is an even function of, yeah, even function. Okay, so yeah, generally k value is being there, is an even function of k there. So the product, okay, the product is said to be an odd function, is said to be a odd function. Okay, so just give the values there, so you will get the product. Okay, so the product of it will be a odd function there, right? So you can give values of k and you can do know that. So cos is said to be like the even function generally, and any values b of k from whatever that we had derived, it is an odd function of k. So what does it reduce? The final equation that we had written, that is x e1 of t, that would be written as x e1 of t, that would be sigma k equals minus infinity to plus infinity a of k cos k into omega naught t, okay, plus 0. So once you take the summations from minus infinity to plus infinity, so you will be getting both positive values and negative values, which cancels out, and you are left out with only 0 term there, right? So that equation, that second term of the equation which was there here, we have replaced it by 0. Just keep in mind that we are going to take a summation there, okay? So now you can have this 0 which is being replaced, okay? So you can have a of k into sine into k into omega naught t, okay? So what you can do here is, so this 0 can be replaced with sigma k equals minus infinity to plus infinity j into a of k sine of k omega naught into t, okay? So this 0 is being replaced here. So whatever that was there, so I have been replaced with a of k here, okay? So you can generally see that this a of k which is there and sine omega naught t along with the j term is being replaced for 0 here, okay? Next, x e1 of t, okay? X e1 of t, that would be sigma k equals minus infinity to plus infinity. So we can take a of k as the common one, and you will be having cos k into omega naught into t, okay, that is there, plus j sine of k into omega naught into t, okay? So this complete function is being represented as sigma k equals minus infinity to plus infinity a of k e power j into k omega naught into t there. So what I can state here is x e1 of t, if you take the Fourier series, that would be with respect to a of k, okay? So this is what we have understood here, okay? So it's a long derivation. I want your complete patience here, okay? So I know that where you have to take the function and how we are going to replace it and so on. So you are going to have x e1 of t, that would be equal to a of k, which is the Fourier series one. So now a similar argument, what you can try out is prove that x odd of t under the Fourier series would be j into b of k, okay? So a similar argument you can prove it. So wherever you had the odd functions, okay? So wherever you had the odd functions, you have to write it. So starting with the fundamentals of odd function, okay? We know that odd of t, that would be, hope you agree to this, right? So you can start from this basics here and then move on to the complex notation, that is x of k. Next, x star of k, which is being replaced as x of minus k there, okay? So that is where you are going to understand it. And for your benefit, okay, so x e1 of t, that is there, and x odd of t, that is the Fourier series representation of j into b of k, that is the coefficients of x of k there, okay? So real part, imaginary part, okay? Along with the j term is the imaginary part, and a of k is said to be the real part there, okay? So this one is the real part and this one is the imaginary part, okay? Yes, fine. So do note that repeated practice is essential for understanding such derivations or theorem there, okay? So let me go on to the next important corollary, which is with respect to the, yeah, go ahead.
Sir, can you explain the last part, sir? How did we replace it by 0?
Yeah, so this is 0 here, right? Okay, so once we had the sine term or the cosine term here, did we write the sine term or the cosine term?
Sine term, sir.
No. See, previously what is being written here, so it is being represented as cos omega t, right? So this entire term I have changed it with a of k. Okay, a of k, j is already being there. So this b of k is replaced with a of k and sine term. Okay, so just to ensure that it is 0. Once again, it is set to be 0 only. Okay, but I have replaced with 0 with this summation over here. Okay, just to ensure that I need the even part of the real periodic function. Are you getting it? Hope this point is clear to you, Purnima.
Sir, I didn't get how did we get 0 in that term, sir?
Yeah, see here, I have b of k and cos omega t to be a product there, right? So b of k is the odd function. Did you get to how did we write b of k as an odd function?
Yes, sir.
Okay, next, do you agree to this that cos k into omega naught t is an even function?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what is the product of even and odd function? You hope we have done it. Yeah, it's a
Odd function.
exactly right. Yes. So now you have this odd function here. Okay. So now I'll write it here. Sigma k equals minus infinity to 0. Okay. Plus sigma k equals 1 to, that is, plus infinity. Okay. So from 1 to infinity, you have the positive values here. Okay. Now from k equals minus infinity to 0, you have, like, let me take it as sigma equals k equals minus infinity to minus 1. Okay. And 0 here, x of 0. Okay. Plus sigma k equals 1 to infinity. Are you getting? There are 3 terms here, right? So once you are having this function to be a positive values only, okay, next this one to be the negative values. All right, so now what you can do here, considering both magnitude and sign of it, that is the minus sign of it, these two will get cancelled. So what you are going to be having, you are going to have x of 0 here. I don't know what is x of 0. Okay, so or else you can take it to be equal to 0 then, right? Are you getting this point?
It may be 1 also, no, sir?
Yeah, it may be 1 also. See here, I have said it to be a real and a periodic function, x of t to be a real and a periodic function there. Okay, so x of 0 is to be taken as 0 here, because once you say x of t is said to be real and periodic, so its value at the origin will be equal to 0 there. Okay, so recall from your basics, x of 0, I know that it is the average value there once a given periodic signal there. So once you have the signal which is being written, or you can take it as minus infinity to 0 itself, anyhow it will be 0 only. Okay, so once you are giving such values, and once you have from 1 to infinity, okay, so such values will be cancelling out with respect to each other. Okay, so I have written here just to make you understand that x of 0, okay, x of 0, if you want to call it, you can call this to be an average value, fine. So once it is not having any value here, you are going to have the value which will be equal to 0 there, right? So that is with respect to the complex nature of it. Okay, so be clear, x of t is said to be a real periodic one. Okay, so its complex Fourier coefficient is represented as a of k plus j into b of k. Okay, so this x of 0 which is there, so that will be also equal to 0 there, right? So once you are having the odd functions and the even functions, so the cumulative of it which will be equal to 0, the sum of it, that will be equal to 0 there, right? So that is what I can show here. So how did I replace 0 with this term, which is sigma k equals minus infinity to plus infinity is, so you have a of k here, which is an even function that is there. Okay, so next sine term which is there. Okay, so this term can be replaced here. So I've just interchanged it. So a of k will be an even function and sine omega naught t will be an odd function. So its product is again said to be an odd function. Do you agree to this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now I can replace it with such a way that I'll be getting the x even component of it. Okay, so which is nothing but a of k then. So I wanted to prove like that. I have made a slight adjustment in such a way that a of k and sine omega naught t are said to be even and odd functions respectively. Okay, so now I can replace it and I can write it in terms of the complex exponentials. Okay, I think your doubt is with respect to why x of 0 is always taken as 0. Okay, I think that is where you have been stuck. So see to it that x of t, what I've considered here is a real and a periodic function there, right? So what I can do here is b of k and cos omega naught t. Okay, so that if you take as a summation, so its value will be equal to 0. I have told here with respect to x of k there. So here what I am referring is b of k and cos k into omega naught t. Okay, ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಆಡ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಒಂದು ಈವನ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕೆ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರ್ತೀನಿ, ಅದರದ್ದು ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ನನಗೆ ಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಆ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಕೆ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಅಂಡ್ ರೈಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಸೈಡ್. ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ಐ ಗಿವ್ ದ ಕೆ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಅಟ್ 0, okay, cos 0 is 1, okay, 1 into b of k, okay, b of 0 that is there here. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? cos 0 is 1, b of 0 ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So b of 0 value, once you are saying this to be an even function, it will also be equal to 0 there. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? So b of k value coefficients ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂತದ್ದು imaginary part ಇರಲ್ಲ, because it is a real and a periodic function. I repeat, it is a real value. Real value ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋದು only real part ಮಾತ್ರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? So imaginary part b of k ಏನಿದೆ coefficient, that will be equal to 0 there. To make you understand, I'm taking the product and I'm taking the summation. So once you have k values to be negative, that will also have negative values. Fine. So I have k values to be positive. Okay. So it cancels out with respect to each other. So that's the reason why that entire imaginary term is said to be equal to 0. Okay. So if you have any doubts, work it by yourself and do ping me, and I'll able to sort it out. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yes. So coming back to x even of t, that is the Fourier series of it, you have the real part of it. Okay. Observe the statement what I made, that is, let x of t be a real and periodic function. Real and periodic function. Okay, so I have x odd of t similarly to be the Fourier series of j into b of k. That is b of k being the imaginary part. So what I did was, for the even component of it, I'll be getting the real part. Okay, then x odd of t, I'll be getting the imaginary part. Okay, so to proceed, if you want to try it on your own and you have to find out, okay, so follow the similar steps there. So x odd of t, that would be equal to 1 by 2 x of t minus x of minus t. Okay, minus of x of minus t. Okay, so you will be able to proceed with the same lines there. Okay, so an important corollary which I wanted to highlight, and I'll stop the class here. Okay, so x of k is real and even if x of t is real and even. Okay, so now I have x of t. I have a given signal, the continuous signal x of t. So it is said to be real and even, and x of k is also real and even. Okay, so this is the first corollary or important point that you need to remember. X of k is purely imaginary, no real part. I'm telling, when I say it is purely imaginary, okay, no real part, no real part. Okay, and odd if and only if and only if x of t is real and odd. X of t is real and odd. So remember these two statements, note down if possible. X of k is real and even if x of t is real and even. So given continuous time signal, once you say it is real and once you call it to be an even function, then x of k is also a real and even function. Next, x of k is purely imaginary, that is no real part, and odd if and only if x of t is real and odd then. Okay, so these are the two important corollary statements that are associated there. Okay, so in the given problems, we will be identifying the waveform whether it is real or not. Next, you are having the odd or not, okay, and the imaginary part. Okay, so all these three predictions or all these three things, okay, so important points that we are going to check it, and then we are going to proceed with the solution to the given problem. Okay, so later we will discuss about the convergence, okay, and later we will discuss about the amplitude at the phase spectrum. Okay, so with this note, I would like to end today's session. Okay, let me stop recording.